beautiful morning to you out there. It's Perspectives on Osrc television. Welcome on board and permit me to say Happy New Month. Yes, it's the first day in the month of August, the 8th month in the year 2025. It's a beautiful morning, and I know that starting the day this today being the first, I know it's going to be a great one for all of us by the special grace of the Almighty God. Yes, when I sometimes discuss with my friends, I'm like, there's a moment, when did we start January 2025? It's like the day just they fire, they go. Before you know it, it will be December 31st. I will be bidding ourselves welcome to another new year. Well, for so many people, when you start the new year, especially when you're transiting from 31st to 1, a lot of people make resolutions, they have plans, they have agenda, they have things they want to accomplish in that year. And for a lot of people, sometimes you see yourself as the month, the days rolls into weeks rolls into months. You start asking yourself, those things I said I want to do, but I have not done any. I've not even started. I've not been able to achieve my goals. And then you begin to work yourself up over nothing. Yes, those goals are what you planned out to achieve, but you know that there are other things that God is doing for you that you are not even taking cognizance of. One, the gift of life. That one, it's very important. The fact that you're even still alive to be able to say, I never do this, so I yet to do this, so it's a special grace. And so I think you should thank God for that. So all I'm saying is, in every situation, thank God. And so we are thanking God on Perspectives this morning. I'm not going to be doing the thanking God alone, as I have Sharon, baby.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Happy New Month.
So good to see you.
It's my pleasure.
Really amazing.
You're not doing badly yourself. Where are you taking me to? Are we going to London? Where are you taking me to?
Just name anywhere.
Sharon.
I'm capable.
You know you're very so not baby girl Sharon, as in don't deceive me.
No, I'm not deceiving.
Are you sure you're taking me somewhere for the show?
Can you survive Canada?
Oh yeah. How do you know?
I'm thinking
I need to go enjoy myself.
Yeah, it's just like she said, it's a new month, and whatever plans you have, it's not too late to start all over. It's not too late to, achieve those plans you had earlier this year. You can still do more. If you've achieved the ones you already booked for or planned for, you can still do more. Much more. It's not too late. Don't give up and keep fighting.
Yes. Keep fighting. Don't give up. Well, it's just going to be me and Sharon on the show this morning. Together, we're going to run Perspectives, and I'm sure that we have quite a lot to dish out to you. Yes, just sit down, relax. I so say it's absent. I know.
We sent her to Canada. So she's actually having fun.
Hey, I say, wait to Sharon is beginning to. You said I said to Canada.
She needed a vacation.
Oh
so
yeah.
I actually asked her to, take a time off and, cool off.
Correct, babe.
Bring back herself.
Correct, babe. So alright, that's what we are going to be doing on the show today. We're going to talk. We have guests. We take the newspaper headlines, and of course we have our trendy issues as well to discuss on the show. So sit back, relax, go nowhere. Perspective returns in a moment. Stay with us.
Chief Michael Adekunle Ajashin, born November 28, 1908, was a distinguished Nigerian educator, politician, and statesman renowned for his integrity, commitment to democracy, and transformative impact on education in Nigeria. Born in Owo, present-day Ondo State, Ajashi began his education at St. Andrew's College, Oyo, from 1924 to 1927, where he trained as a teacher. He furthered his studies at Fowler Bay College in Sierra Leone, earning a Bachelor of Arts degree in English, Modern History and Economics in 1946. He then obtained a postgraduate diploma in education from the University of London in 1947. Ajashin's career in education commenced with his appointment as principal of Imadi College in Owo in 1947. He was instrumental in staff development, encouraging teachers to pursue further training at institutions like University College Ibadan. In 1963, he founded Owo High School, serving as the first principal until his retirement in 1975. Ajashin's political journey began in the 1950s as a founding member and national vice president of the Action Group, advocating for policies such as free education, universal health care, and Nigeria's immediate independence. He served as a federal legislator from 1954 to 1966. In 1979, he was elected governor of Ondo State under the Unity Party of Nigeria (UPN), with Akin Omoboriwo as his deputy. His administration prioritized education, establishing the Ondo State University in 1982, now Ekiti State University, and the Polytechnic Owo. In the 1983 elections, Ajashin was initially declared the loser amid allegations of electoral malpractice. However, the Supreme Court later reinstated him, affirming his victory. His tenure was cut short by the military coup on 31 December 1983. In 1939, Ajashin married Baba Funke Tenabe, a fellow educator. They had 4 children, including Olajumoke Anifowoshi, who later served as Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice in Ondo State. Ajashin's commitment to democracy was evident in the 1990s when he became a leading figure in the National Democratic Coalition, NADECO, advocating for the restoration of democracy and the recognition of MKO Abiola's electoral mandate. His activism led to his arrest in 1995 under General Sani Abacha's regime. In recognition of his contributions, Ondo State University was renamed Adekunle Ajashin University in 2000. His governance style, marked by simplicity and incorruptibility, remains a benchmark in Nigerian politics, as he once stated. And I quote, "I came into office in October 1979 with a set of my own rich native dresses and left office in December 1983 with the same set of dresses. No addition, no subtraction." His legacies continue to linger in memories, generation after generation.
Alright, so welcome back. It's still Perspectives on Osrc television, and now we're going straight to newspaper review. That's to review the headlines on our dailies today. I'm starting with Friday Leadership with this screaming headline: many critically ill parents are being rejected, says UUTHCND. And I have a writer today saying, we are caught unawares because we never anticipated the negotiation would fail. We were not prepared for this kind of emergency. I think this story has a lot to do with the nurses who are on 7-day warning strike, and a lot has been coming up on that, how hospitals are deserted, especially with the fact that nurses are not on duty, how the hospital is jam-packed with patients and deserted with nurses, as in nobody to attend to them.
It's risky.
It is indeed. Health issue is something
we should prioritize in every country, and we not prioritizing this. It's risky on everybody.
Yes. All right, moving ahead. ADC dismisses Nafiu Bala's claim to party's chairmanship. And there is a rider to that. He says, releases his resignation letter as Deputy National Chairman dated May 2025. There's a lot. A lot is it's in the ADC issue. I saw the video when he had his press statement, and it was like a lonely Londoner, all alone in the struggle. And he says, see, their constitution says, once the chairman leaves or absent or resigns, the national deputy chairman will take over, and that strangers are coming to take their place. This is on a sad note. Emir of Gudu, Yobe State, dies at 75. May so rest in peace. And also we have Niger goes to Supreme Court over exclusion from 13% derivation fund. That's on Friday Leadership. That's where we are taking our stories from. Friday Leadership this morning. And I have this one. Ondo Governor appeal court to uphold Ayedatiwa's victory. It was all glamour and an interesting one yesterday when that was declared, when the appeal court upheld the election of the Ondo State Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa. Congratulations to him. I have to say, let me just take a little bit of it. The Court of Appeal sitting in Akure on Thursday, July 31, 2025, affirmed the election of Dr. Lucky Ayedatiwa and Dr. Olaide Adelami as the Governor and Deputy Governor of Ondo State. This followed the dismissal of the appeals of some political parties against the judgment of the Ondo State Governorship Election Petitions Tribunal of June 4, 2025, which affirmed the election of the All Progressives Congress APC candidates. The People's Democratic Party PDP, African Democratic Congress ADC, Allied People's Movement APM, and Social Development Party SDP had filed appeals against the judgment of the tribunal, asking for the invalidation of the November 16, 2024 governorship election. However, the three justices, Justice Nimpa Yagata, Justice K.I. Amadi, and Justice I.M. Sene unanimously struck out the appeals, one after the other, for not substantiating the claims of non-compliance with the Electoral Act. The justices held that the appellants failed to prove their allegations against the election, as they did not show how their claims affected the election in the various polling units, wards, and local government areas where the election took place. The appellate court also ruled that the parties abandoned their cases as there were no credible witnesses called at the tribunal to back up their claims of widespread irregularities in the various polling units. The court therefore affirmed the judgments of the tribunal on all the cases and declared Dr. Ayedatiwa and Dr. Adelami as the elected governor and deputy governor of Ondo State, giving cost of 1.5 million naira against the appellants. Wow, that's quite an interesting one.
Who God don't choose?
God don't choose. I kind of, for me, I love the comments of the APC chairman, Adetime, when he says, after all of this, still calling on every other person to join this moving train to make Ondo State better, to work together with the governor so as to better the lots of the people of Ondo State. I think enough of this cult that, especially when
the fear of accepting failure. You know, when someone fails, you just want to prove a point. You know, I didn't do this, I didn't do that, I am supposed to win, and all that. So I feel it's unnecessary, really, really unnecessary. So if you are not on the seat, if you're not elected, I just accept it.
Yes, especially you need to see the victory. The election result. Okay, imagine calling a case where you don't even have a witness. Why you then sue?
It's more like you embarrassing yourself furthermore.
At the end of the day,
people have choose him, and he has come to stay. When it's fine, he will serve it, and he will move on someone else to.
So 10 by 10.
Yes, of course.
All right, well, take the next one.
The Guardian newspaper. Uncertainty for FIFA. Soccer fans over Trump's American First policy. Tinubu rallies government to drive reforms gain despite hardship, discontent in the state. You can find that on page 6. 2027, PDP rejects Tinubu's endorsement, berates Atiku, others over ADC coalition. You can find that also on page 27. Appeal court upholds Ayedatiwa's election as governor of Ondo State. Congratulations to him. You can find that on page 27. Tension as bandits dismember 2 teenagers in Kogi State. It's saddened. It's saddened. 2 teenagers. These are supposed to be our leaders of tomorrow. If we keep doing this to them, how are they going to be our leaders tomorrow? Okay. More defections, leadership crisis unsettled, PDP. ADC ahead of 2027 polls. We have call off strike for negotiation, residency, reptile health workers. Dangote Cement advocates budget-friendly mass housing for Nigerians. That also is on page 3. That's all for the Guardian newspaper.
All right, moving to the Nigerian Tribune. That's the next point of call, Nigerian Tribune. And I have this headline: FEC approves 145 billion naira electrification project for Unilag, UI, UNN, others. And here are riders to read. OK's 68.7 billion naira for second phase of solar power for rural agri-centers, and also approves 3.7 billion naira for upgrade of oncology center in UCH. That's a nice one. You can find the details of that story on page 2 of Nigerian Tribune. Also, PDP faults arbitrary streets renaming in Lagos threatens legal action. That is also on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune. Nigeria, influential nation of unlimited possibilities. This is coming from U.S. government. Wow, that's our nation, Nigeria. We have unlimited possibilities.
It's a good one.
I mean, why are we jackpying?
I wonder.
Why can't we just make this place work? Okay, 44th Olubadan Ladoja expected in Ibadan weekend. Olubadan in council meets on Monday. That story is also on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune. Foreign Affairs Minister in Ghana amid deportation threat to Nigerians, also especially that of children. And so once our immune system is weakened, of course, a lot of diseases will come on. And we also know that especially the ladies, even not the ladies now,
it's everyone
now. So tampering with their skin, using all manner of things and all that. You want to say something?
Yes, someone told me that those days people live longer because they eat more fruits. And now fresh fruits. It was all everywhere. Yes. Every compound then used to have fruits, vegetables, and all that. But now it's too expensive. We can't even afford it. We can't afford. Then it was, people didn't really know it. They were eating it out of hunger. You go to the farm, maybe you're hungry, you just pluck mango and you start eating. But now we don't have that luxury anymore. It's expensive. Pineapple is expensive, but still we have to, purchase these things to eat because we don't have a choice. We really don't have a choice. Walnut is, I think, about 2 or 4 for 200 naira. For walnut, and these are things that helps the immune system to function well.
The immune system. I quite agree with you that they are expensive, but the truth is, using this analogy of if you say education is expensive, try ignorance. By the time you fall sick, and the amount you're spending, you're going to spend in the hospital taking care of yourself, and
you eat fruits.
If by God's grace you're even able to survive, you will not say it is too expensive for you to acquire things that you need to take in to help to push your health. Iwatada's experience as rec added advantage for APC. That's coming from Lalong. And we also have another one here. We want better salaries, not loans. ASU tells federal government. That story is on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. There was the story that came out recently that the federal government has approved loans for lecturers and non-academic staff, that they cannot access loan, and it will help them. They want to go into venture into business, agriculture more, poultry farming and all that, and every other thing they think they need that money for. But they are saying we want better salaries.
The loan is, how is the interest rate like?
Well, it's going to when I read that, I saw something like 3.3%. I think spread across the whole thing. I'm not really too sure of the percentage, but of course, when you're taking loan and it's coming from the federal government, I don't think the interest rate will be that much. Okay. It's also a way of encouraging people to go into farming, agriculture, and also to ease the burden. Okay, but if they're saying no, we don't want it, then who I be to say maybe they take out? Happy Court affirms Ayeda Tiwa's election as governor. I read that story earlier. It's on page 1 of the Nigerian Tribune.
Okay, the Punch newspaper. Marketers warn against disruption as Dangote plans direct fuel supply. You can find that on page 19. 2027 defections stirs tension as APC ADC lock horns. 2027 is going to be hot. Federal government approves 3.5 trillion naira for roads, airports, and others. You can also find that on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Nigeria needs new constitution, not amendments. You can also find that on page 3. Recovery ongoing in 1.3 trillion naira. CBEX policy collapses, says EFCC. You can find that on page 7. Ondo State. ADC vows to challenge Ayedatiwa's appeal court victory. May they rest. May they rest. this man don't enter, he don't enter. You cannot unseat him. He is there to stay until his time is over. How suspected ritualist dismembered my 16-year-old son, Ogun driver, says on page 4 and 5. Oyo budget hits 984 billion naira after 299.8 billion supplementary bill. You can find that on page 29. That's all for the Punch newspaper.
Alright, so that's all for the Punch newspaper. Moving to Daily Trust. Yes, moving to Daily Trust this morning. 34 million Nigerians at risk of hunger as UN food aid ends. Hey, okay. Canada to join UK, France to recognize Palestinian state in September. Also, Niger takes federal government to court over 13% derivation. Strike. Government nurses meet today. I mean, I think that's a good development, a conclusion, so as to end. Yes, so as to end this buhaha. As far as I'm concerned, it's affecting a whole lot of people.
It's not just people, everything. These people are at the front run, defending us, and we have to protect their interests too, because whatever happens to them happens to us. Whatever affects them affects us too. They are giving their lives out there to save us, so we need to appreciate them.
Yes, they need to be appreciated. It's very important, and you can't. I don't know. Some sectors of our economy need to really be looked into. The health sector is key, because if we are losing needless lives, things that are not supposed to happen, all because the nurses, the doctors are grieved and they're going on strike and all that.
Especially now they have decided to stay. No more jackbarring and all that. They have decided to stay. Please, let's treat them well.
Very important. And then the last one. Hashtag end bad governance protest. 1 year after, nothing has changed. This is coming from conveners. Alright, that's about all the stories we have, the newspapers we have for you this morning on newspaper headlines trailing. We'll go on a short break, and we'll come back. We'll take the next part of the show. Please sit tight. Go nowhere.
She was called the Lioness of Lisabi, a name that roared through the halls of colonial power and echoed in the hearts of women across Africa. Her name is Fumilayo Ransom Kuti, a teacher, activist, feminist, nationalist, and mother to legends. But before the fame, there was fire. Born on October 25, 1900 in Abeokuta, present-day Ogun State, Nigeria, Funmilayo was born Frances Abigail Olufunmilayo Thomas. She came from a family that valued education, and in 1914, she became the first female student at Abeokuta Grammar School. Determined and brilliant, she later traveled to England for further studies, a rare feat for a Nigerian woman at that time. There, she trained as a teacher, absorbing ideas of equality and freedom that would shape her life's mission. On returning to Nigeria in the 1920s, she married Reverend Israel Ransom Kuti, a clergyman and educator. Together, they worked to uplift their community through education. But Funmilayo was not content with just teaching. She saw how colonial rule and traditional structures oppressed Nigerian women, and she decided to act. In 1947, she founded the Abeokuta Women's Union, one of Africa's most powerful grassroots women movements. The group fought against unfair taxation and the corrupt practices of the Alake, the traditional ruler of Abeokuta. Thousands of women led by Funmilayo marched in protest. They sang, they chanted, they occupied, and eventually they won. The Alake was forced to abdicate. Funmilayo Ransom Kuti was fearless. She was one of the few Nigerian women to drive a car, to travel widely, and to speak truth to power. Her activism didn't stop in Abeokuta. She was a founding member of the Nigerian Union of Teachers, a member of the National Council of Nigeria and the Cameroon's NCNC. And in 1953, she became the first Nigerian woman to visit the Soviet Union, a move that earned her the label Communist Sympathizer by British authorities. But she wasn't deterred. In fact, she was emboldened. In her later years, she focused on broader issues: education, voting rights, women participation in politics. She advocated for the inclusion of women in leadership and resisted Nigeria's slide into authoritarianism. She raised 4 children, including Fela Anikulapo Kuti, the legendary Afrobeat pioneer, instilling in them the spirit of resistance and truth. But tragedy would eventually come. In 1977, during a brutal military raid on Fela's compound, known as Kalakuta Republic, Funmilayo was thrown from a second-story window by soldiers. She never recovered from the injuries, and on April 13th, 1978, she passed away. Funmilayo Ransom Kuti was more than a mother, more than a teacher. She was a symbol of courage, of resistance, of dignity. She paved the path so Nigerian women could walk tall, speak freely, and fight for justice. Her legacy lives in every classroom, every protest, every woman who dares to say enough is enough. This was the story of Funmilayo Ransom Kuti, the lioness of listening, a voice that cannot be silenced, a spirit that lives on.
Welcome back. It's the Perspectives on Osrc Television. Moving to the next part of the show, which is our interview segment, the focal point of the day. We'll be looking at the money given by NATIB not to entrust our children in the hands of friends or people we don't trust. Alright, the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons issued a strong warning to parents across the country against entrusting their children to casual acquaintances, untrusted neighbors, and one-off service providers, noting that such actions expose children to trafficking and abduction. The Director General of NATIB, Binta Adamu Bello, gave the warning during the formal reunification of a 5-year-old girl, Rahman Ibrahim, with her parents in Damaturu, Yobe State. The DG was represented by the commander of the NATIB Yobe State Command, Saleh Zuba. Alright, we all know that the children are holidays, and this warning, it's indeed coming for me at the right time, so that parents will do what they have to do to keep the children safe. I can't really imagine just leaving your children. I know that this country, I mean Nigeria, we are, because of the economy, both parents now work, okay, where you have to work so as to be able to fend for the family. They say one person they do himself, he never reach. Talk less of, when you now, two people they do them, he never reach. I beg your pardon, not now when you leave one person to reach. So it has become a necessity for both parents to work or get involved in something. Either you are a business person or you're doing something so that both ends can wash, both ends clean. And you know that when they each go in their different directions to go and look for the daily bread, the children needs to be taken care of, definitely. So who do you leave your children with? How are you going to make sure that this warning by NAFDAC is carried out to the later, so that our children will be safe and sound? To do justice to this topic this morning, to discuss this, we have a psychologist in the house within us this morning. I'm talking about no other person than Evening Onibi.
Good morning, viewers. Good morning.
Good morning. It's nice having you on the show. All right. Going by that warning, I mean, do we really even need to be warned from such an organization before parents know what to do at this time?
Well, sure. At least, sometimes we do things, normally. But when there are issues like this, then we want to put in more effort. And I would like to say this, that all these things start from home. The question for our parents today is that, are you really building relationship with your children? Are you just feeding them physically, or you are training them to become more matured? What is the relationship between you and your children? Then social connectedness is different from social connect. Yes, we all have parents. Good morning, mommy. Good evening. Good night. I'm hungry. It goes beyond that. We cannot be too careful. There was a time, recently I also heard of, a brother that beheaded his stepbrother. We can't be too careful. We cannot actually say, oh, this person is not good enough for you to leave your child with. But then, like I said, it goes beyond that. Because for children, mainly, you need to set rules for them. Especially those that are going with strangers. Sometimes I wonder, have they not been told? You should be sensitive to strangers. There are some children that they just leave your compound without permission, without telling you where they're going. It shouldn't be. So they are used to it. My mommy will not say anything. There's another one that I had in Ekiti State, that this woman left 3 children, just before coming back from work, The elderly man was sent to go and buy something. A stranger just to the tenant sent him. Then he or she was able to kidnap the two remaining. So what do you teach them? How do you relate with them? Are you just training them, or are they street smarters? There are some children that when they see strangers, they know.
Yes.
Then there are some children that they are sensitive because you've been training them to be sensitive. So even when their mother is not even seeing, they say, "Mommy, that person did this and that yesterday."
Yes.
So we are starting our holidays. It's not only about kidnapping. What about abuses? What about physical abuse? What about sexual abuse? What about drug abuse? From holidays, a lot of children, they start taking drug, testing them. Uncle will tell them, go and buy it.
Yes.
And when they come back, they won't tell their parents. So how do you know? It depends on what you've trained them with and who they are. Like Yoruba will say, "Nkan tí ẹyẹ bá jẹ, òun lẹyẹ ń gbé fò." So you cannot be just too careful, because these children, even if you are not leaving them with stranger or leaving them with somebody that they will move from school to your house.
Yes.
What are they going to do after school hours? So it depends on what is inside of them, the training you have given them, how sensitive they are, how matured they are. Like people will say, there's this 777 rules for parenting. 0 to 7 years, you'll be playing with them. Yes, you will train them, you will guide them, but the actual thing you will focus on between 0 and 7 is playing with them to build this relationship. So that when they leave your side, something will be echoing in their mind. When you give children instructions, that's why I said it is not a day job.
Yes, sir.
When you give them instructions, when they leave you, they internalize it. Mommy will not allow us to eat it.
Yes.
Not that person.
Yes.
So you build that relationship. Then between 7 and 14, when you now find out that your children have become teenagers, some parents, they now wants to be playing. It will not work. Those times you formed that relationship with them, they see you as their lovers, and then you now start training them between 7 and 14.
So firstly, it's build a relationship.
Building a relationship
Make
with
them your friend.
Yes.
I'll give them that confidence to be able to talk to you at any time.
Yes.
Some parents are just fond of this thing. So when children, children like to talk.
Yes.
And they see a lot and they want to talk, they want to chat.
But you don't give them audience.
In the room. When they are talking, you are shutting them down. When they keep quiet, don't say anything. That's actually the period
They build that
to form that relationship, that connectedness.
Yes.
You are connecting with their soul when you play with children, because that is actually what they need at that stage. And while you are playing with them, they learn to open up. While you are playing, you just hear something. What did you just say? See more about it. And you are open, you are smiling with them. You are even showing them, as at that stage, you use their toys to tell them a lot of things. This is a boy, this is a girl,
Yes.
Then when they get to 7 to 14, you start training them. This is how you should do it, this is how you should behave, and all that.
The behavioral aspect of it.
14 and 21, it is time for you to just guide.
Okay.
It's
Let them just be and you
be. Yes.
Wow.
Not too being overprotective.
Okay.
Leave
Like a
them,
coach.
guide them, go and bring that in. See how he or she will do or maneuver his or her way through. Then you tell them, no, this is now to date. So they are building on the training that you've given them.
Okay. So
So for such children, when they go out, they are more sensitive. All those things will be internalized. This is what mommy says. Then spell out rules clearly. Don't be ambiguous. It is not when they make mistake that you start beating them,
Shouting.
and they are looking at you. What
did I do? What wrong have
Why
I
is mommy beating me?
Yes.
Because there's no rules that are stated clearly.
Saying when you do this, this action will come on you. Yes. You are not giving rules. Everybody is just living by the day. Then it is when they don't go wrong, you now start beating them. You mentioned abuse. What psychological impacts can neglect, which is part of what because when you neglect them, when you hand them over to people you don't even trust because you need to go to your own place of work, you need to get things done. What can it do by trusted friend? What can it have? What psychological effects can neglect and abuse have on a child?
A lot. A lot. And I will say that what is happening, to us as children will affect you even when you're an adult. It goes a long way. And there's something we call negative self-schema. Those are the experiences that you've bottled up. Some you cannot even tell anybody. I've been in therapy sessions that people will tell you there are some information that people will die with. And there was a time I was asking some people, I said, come, if we agree for us to show your life, history on a TV, none of them said yes. Why? Because all these abuses, even from parents, not only by strangers.
Yes.
People bottle up. I've seen teenagers that will tell them, Ma, I'm just waiting for that day that I will gain an admission. I will be free from this house. And the issue is, if you have that mind, when you now have the freedom, you may not know how to manage it. Because you've not built that relationship. If you've actually built that relationship with your parents, then you won't feel that way. So this thing affects us even till, adults. And that is why we need to deal with a lot of things. They become conflicts. And we call them unresolved conflicts. It will affect your relationship with another person, affect your relationship after marriage, keep affecting everything until you are healed of it.
True.
So it's terrible. And you're in a society sometimes that you might not even be able to discuss with your parents. Because especially for some parents that, they don't give you instruction. You don't know what to do. And when you make mistakes, you're even afraid to tell them. There was someone that I met in the course of my practice in the last 2 decades. And she told me somebody abused me, but I've not been able to tell my parents. So each time I pick up my phone to talk, something will tell me, just shut up, because I know my mother. The way she will react, she will first slap me. Why did you go there? Why will you do this? Why will you do that? So she said she could not even say it for years. So she developed depression, and then she was seeing a consultant, and the consultant now referred her to me. That was where I got to know that was the cause. Not really the cause, because we don't believe that one thing will cause depression for you.
That's
in psychology.
One major cause.
Yes, of the factors that cause that for her. And until we resolve that. And so to resolve it depends on individual and the situation. But that all these abuses will not affect, And during holiday, like I said, it's not only sexual abuse they are exposed to. Other abuses. Some children, I will be shocked when the parents will come and say, when did this start? I did not know. And this person might have been doing this thing for 5 years. So parents too, we must be sensitive. Very, very sensitive. To the environment, to the children, know when their behaviors are changing, know when, they've experienced one thing or the other. And all that.
Okay, when we come back, because now we will have to go to the newsroom for developing stories. But when we come back, we're going to ask you more questions, especially on the last thing you said, where we'll talk about what age should parents start educating their children about personal safety and boundaries and other questions. All right, now moving to the newsroom for developing stories. We'll be back after then to continue with the interview. Please stay with us.
Beautiful is your name. Wonderful is what you are to me. Eba mi kira fún mama mi. Orisha mi ja o. Kò sí láyé.
Every mom, a treasure beyond measure. 3 Crowns Milk. Healthy moms, happy families.
Hello and welcome to Developing Stories. I am Obi Chukwemeka Uti. The Court of Appeal sitting in Akure has affirmed the election of Lucky Aiyedatiwa and Olaide Adelami as the governor and deputy governor of Ondo State. This followed the dismissal of the appeals of some political parties against the judgment of the Ondo State Governorship Election Petitions Tribunal of June 4, 2025, which affirmed the election of the All Progressives Congress APC candidates. The People's Democratic Party, African Democratic Congress, Allied People's Movement, and Social Democratic Party had filed appeals against the judgment of the tribunal, asking for an invalidation of the November 16, 2024 governorship election. Government House correspondent Wahab Bankole reports that the 3 justices, Justice Nimpa Yagata, Justice Kenneth Amadi, and Justice Mohammed Sani, unanimously struck out the appeals for not substantiating the claims of non-compliance with the Electoral Act.
The premises of the Federal Court of Appeal in Akure was besieged by a horde of people from all walks of life, including political associates, party faithful, lawmakers, members of the bar and the bench, as well as top government functionaries led by Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa. The Court of Law entertained the petition filed by some political parties seeking to overturn the judgment of the November 16, 2024 Governorship Election Petition Tribunal, which affirmed the victory of the All Progressives Congress APC. Delivering the judgment, there are 3 justices, Justice Nimpa Yagata, Justice Kenneth Amadi, and Justice Mohammed Sani, unanimously struck out the appeals for not substantiating the claims of non-compliance with the Electoral Act. The justices held that the appellants failed to prove their allegations against the election, as they did not show how their claims affected the election in the various polling units, wards, and local government areas where the election took place. The appellate court also ruled that the parties abandoned their cases as there were no credible witnesses called at the tribunal to back up their claims of widespread irregularities in the various polling units. The court therefore affirmed the judgment of the tribunal on all the cases and declared Aiyedatiwa and Adelami as the elected governor and deputy governor of Ondo State, giving cost of 1.5 million naira against the appellants. Reacting to the judgment, Governor Aiyedatiwa described it a welcome development, commending the appeal court justices for painstakingly going through the cases and delivering detailed unanimous judgments.
That mandate that you gave us through your votes on the 16th of November 2024, that overwhelming record-broken votes. Yes, sir. everyone. We will stand to defend your votes, and we have defended the same today through our legal team. You know, the court is an integral part of democracy. You have done your part, and you did very well. You went out in the rain, in the sun, you campaigned, you talked to the people of Ondo under peace, security of lives and property that we are providing already. You can thrive, you can go to wherever you want to go to do your business.
Governor Aiyedatiwa, who expressed gratitude to God and people of the state, said the judgment reaffirmed the will of the people with a promise not to waver in his determination to better the state while improving the living conditions of the people.
I also want to use the opportunity to thank my legal counsel for their professionalism, for their legal acumen and commitment to this case. And the panel of judges from the tribunal and now the appeal court, I can't thank them enough for painstakingly going through the entire process and dispense justice without fear nor favor.
From the Court of Appeal in Akure, Wahab Bankole, Osrc News.
President Bola Tinubu has charged state governors to prioritize the welfare of Nigerians by investing more in their future, putting more money in rural electrification, agricultural mechanization, poverty eradication, and improved investment in infrastructure. President Tinubu's charge to the governors followed a presentation by Minister of Budget and National Economic Planning, Abubakar Bagudu, at the 150th meeting of the National Economic Council (NEC) held at the State House Council Chambers, Abuja. Tinubu urged state governors to collaborate with the federal government to drive economic development in rural areas across the country. This is just as the National Economic Council has endorsed a new ward-based development strategy, Renewed Hope Ward Development Program, to actualize double-digit economic growth through direct intervention in over 8,809 administrative wards across the 36 states in Nigeria. The President also directed NEC to set up a committee to enhance the actualization of legacy projects, especially the Lagos to Calabar and the Sokoto-Badagry superhighways. The federal government has approved the National Industrial Relations Policy NIRP 2025 in a bid to curtail incessant industrial actions by trade unions. Briefing newsmen at the end of the Federal Executive Council FEC meeting presided over by President Bola Tinubu, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, explained that the new policy will regulate activities of trade unions. He said the National Industrial Relations Policy for the country stems from the need to have a guiding policy document aimed at fostering harmonious industrial relations within the workplace for both employers and employees. Meanwhile, the organized labor has condemned the persistent interference of government and security agencies in the affairs of trade unions in the country. The labor union has vowed to resist any attempt by external forces to cause a disunity between the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) and the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria (TUC) so as to weaken the agitation for workers' welfare. In a statement, the president of TUC, Mr. Festus Osifo, assured that the leadership of the two labor centers will work together to protect the interests of workers. Earlier at the NLC headquarters in Abuja, President of NLC Joe Ajero condemned government's interference in the internal affairs of trade unions. Ajero, who hinted that the International Labour Organization ILO is closely monitoring the Nigerian government's interference in union activities, insisted that trade unions are independent organizations guided by their own internal rules in line with principles of the ILO, which frees trade unions from government interference in their establishment, administration, and activities. And lastly, the National Economic Council (NEC) has called for improved support for the State Emergency Management Agency (SEMAs) across the 36 states of the Federation. The Senior Special Assistant to the President of Media and Communications, Office of the Vice President, Stanley Nwokocha, in a statement noted that NEC also urged the Federal Ministry of Finance to release emergency funds to address impending flood effects. The Council's resolution followed a presentation by the Director General of the National Emergency Management Agency (NEMA), Zubaida Omar, on the country's 2025 flood preparedness and response initiatives during the Council's meeting. The statement added that local government areas and communities were specifically directed to take ownership of local risk mitigation efforts, engage actively in awareness campaigns, and report early signs of flood risk to appropriate authorities. To this end, the Economic Council directed the Federal Ministry of Finance to release funds to each state of the Federation, the FCT, and some federal agencies for this year's flood preparedness. And that's Developing Stories. Many thanks for watching. We'll now return you to Perspective Studio. Stay with us.
Welcome back from the newsroom where we had Developing Stories. Moving ahead, we still have our psychologist, Mrs. Evelyn Onibi, where we're looking at the warning from NAPTIP, that's National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, about not leaving your children with casual friends or untrusted neighbors so as to ensure their safety. And as we know, we mentioned earlier that schools are on holiday and the children, we need care, absolute care. All right, Sharon.
Okay, thank you very much, and it's good to have you on the show. I have two questions for you. How can we promote the child care practices among family members and caregivers? I want to combine the two together. What are the resources available for parents and caregivers to report suspected cases of child trafficking or child abuse?
Okay, thank you, Ma, for that question. Yes, the first thing is to provide a safe environment for them. And the safe environment, the safe space that we are talking about start from home. In fact, the space start from the relationship between you and your parents, like I said earlier on. Because sometimes there are some children that they don't feel safe, even with their parents. They are there, the fear and everything. And safety is a concept. Start from within. Do I feel safe? I've met with teenagers that they will tell me, I can't travel with my dad. Why? I will just be scared. For nothing, just sitting beside him. So the safety starts from your mind. You know, when you look around, between you and your parents, that extends to the home environment and all that. Do you feel safe? Whatever you learn from that relationship, there's something we call generalized learning. When you leave home, you generalize that to other places. So when the home feels safe, your relationship between you and your parents feels safe, then other things will follow. And that, in a way, when you now leave their side and you are in a place that is not safe, you'll be sensitive to it. Now you can know what safety means and what something or environment that is not safe, what it means. So it starts from home. And when all this, am I safe, with my parents or not, that will now lead you to the second stage of reporting what you have seen. It doesn't start in a day. Even most children that are being kidnapped, they'll be lured into it. Today I'll give you sweets. Tomorrow I'll give you money. It's not a big thing. And all this, we are not reporting it. Something that you're supposed to have challenged. Why are you giving her? Or you tell your child, don't take it again. Where is this person? Don't go near that place. There are social experiments. Sometimes they will call the child, give them, say, no, my mom said I don't take this from stranger. Then when you even take from stranger and you tell your mom will be more sensitive than you, and you ask a question, why is this person giving him or her? Then you will be guided. But then some children cannot even see. Maybe you don't even give them sweets. Now is an opportunity for them to collect. And they will keep going to that place because they feel safer with that person than you. Something is wrong somewhere.
Wow. So talking about safety. Yes, to report.
And to report. Like I said, if your father or your mother is harsh, you can't relate with them. When you go out, how will you relate with another father figure? You will see the policeman or whoever you need to report to. You are afraid. This is like my father. This is like my mother. He or she will be judgmental. He or she will scold me for what has happened. He or she will blame me. He or she will bring all the faults.
So you just hit the nail where I'm going, being judgmental and blaming, and then you make the child to feel ashamed and even guilty of an offense they didn't commit. So how can parents support their child or children through such trauma without making them feel that way, without making them feel ashamed or guilty, or without you even blaming them for everything and making them not feel safe with you as a parent?
Acceptance. I've met with a lot of parents. We don't have the same capacity to learn. Fine, there are some children that will say that, okay, I've been training them, I've been telling you, don't go this, don't go that way. But then we don't have the same capacity. Accept every
we learn
child
at different levels.
They
assimilate at different levels.
Yes. So accept them. And then the question is, what type of parenting are you even practicing? Parenting style. There are some authoritarian parenting.
Yes.
You see them, you cannot just shut up. Even when the child is planning to tell you something, just shut up. Why are you squeezing your face? Will you get out? And then they will go and be swallowing whatever. Some of them cannot sleep. Right. I've seen a child, not even a child, an adult, 25 years old. When she broke down finally, she started telling us what happened to her when she was 6 years old. Mommy, you remember when you sent me to that pastor? That pastor raped me. He said, shut up. Why are you just telling us? After like 20-something years old, we now told her, we said, let her talk, because this is part of her healing.
Exactly.
Let her talk.
Did you give her the room there to
even authoritarian parenting, your child will go out, they can't talk. Even when they're abusing them, they know it is wrong. Some of them they don't know, some of them they know, but they cannot talk. And as long as they can't talk to you, they won't be able to talk to another person.
Yes.
And if you're authoritative parenting, giving instructions will come with why you have to do this and that. Not just giving instruction and backing it up with punishment. So when the child knows this is the reason why I don't have to do this, if you follow stranger, this is what will happen. Do we spend quality times to tell them the consequences of even following strangers? We don't. Then uninvolved parenting, you are not even there for them.
You don't even know your child.
They will be fine. That you and there, about today, go and take it.
Yes.
12 o'clock, eat your food. Who is there to supervise? Children need supervision.
At what age do you start leaving children all by themselves?
Oh, well, it depends on how developed they are. Because there's something we call mental age. Some they are 25 years old, they still behave like 12. That is why I said acceptance of their individuality. So we must be observant, know their mental age. But there are some children at age 10, 12, they can cook, they can take care of their young ones. They will say, Mommy, you didn't do it well. Let me do it. So be observant. Know their mental age. That is why some people will send the child to boarding school. He's 10 years old, but I know one of my neighbor's child, she's just 9 years old, and they're there. The boy went to university, and he came back and said, Ma, I don't have energy and capacity for this. The mother said, no, your uncle child is there, that and that. He broke down because they were just pushing him to whatever that is wrong. And he knew, yes, he knew that these things are wrong, but he could not resist the pushing, they were just pushing him there, here and there. He was unable to stand.
Well, we can go on and on about this, but because we know that we are talking about our children and their safety, which is very, very important and key, especially with so many vices that children can pick up, their safety, or kidnapping. You mentioned something earlier. In fact, they being kidnapped from their house because the one who is supposed to look after them, who is older, was lured out by the person who wanted to kidnap them. Please, I picked a whole lot from what she said. Those stages of their life, the 0 to 7 years, what kind of relationship, what kind of bond are you building with your children? From 7 to 14, what are you teaching them? Have you started teaching them to be independently minded, for them to be able to take on responsibility one way or the other? And at 14 to 21, what are you doing? Are you the screaming mother or the screaming father who will not let them just function, for you to also be able to guide them? So many things has been said this morning, but the children are on holiday. Please, parents, take absolutely care of them. Thank you so much, Mrs. Evelyn Uni, before
really good
joining
to
the
have
show.
you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take a short break. When we come back, it will be time for our trending stories. Please stay with us. right, welcome back. Moving to the last lap of the program this morning, Trending Stories. We have some for you. We're starting with this. Over 40 individuals in the past 5 years are involved in examination practice in the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination and are currently standing trial in various courts across the country. JAM also disclosed that more than 70 persons were successfully prosecuted between 2019 and 2024, adding that it secured the convictions of over 10 individuals during the period under review. It recall that in 2015, JAM introduced the computer-based test to curb fraudulent practices in the UTME. Since then, several individuals who attempted to beat the board's surveillance system have been caught and prosecuted across the country. The registrar of JAM, Professor Ishaq Oloyede, stated that the board had put measures in place to curb admission infractions. He noted that although the central admission processing system had made the admission process more transparent, fair, and equitable, some stakeholders are still attempted to circumvent the system. This is as UTME JAM prosecutes 110 in 5 years. Wow, we're talking about education system.
And we are I don't know if we are going forward or if we are going backward on this. I think this fraud stuff didn't just come up all of a sudden. It must have started from somewhere, from the primary sector, the secondary sector, and getting to that level. So whatever we do, we should go back to the roots. How did it start? How can we destroy it from the roots, not just raising them to that extent and persecuting them for a faulty foundation, because the foundation is already faulty. It's going back to its roots to fix the foundation. And we have people that aid this too. We have they are not just the only one doing this. We have assistants coming in too. So we should check who are those people assisting these children, these students, encouraging them into such practices, and try and see how we can reduce or tame them. You can't just kill, cut down the tree from up. You need to go down.
If you don't want it to grow again,
yes, you go down to the roots. So they should go down to the root to know how it started, what is grooming it.
You see, malpractice is not new. Like you said, it's been something that is on, and at every point in time, those in the education sector will always look for a way to curb it. They bring up different new policies to make sure that these malpractices are eradicated, and that's what also brought about the CBT test for JAM, which WAEC is also saying is going to adopt. But despite this, we still have malpractices. I remember a case of a girl that was said to have scored the highest in JAM some years back, only to discover that it was fraudulent, and she's been celebrated. In fact, she has started getting money, getting so many things and all that, only to discover. So like you said, I also go with it. One is because let me tell you, at this point I want to talk to parents. Some parents age and abate.
Yes, you come with your assignments back home or homework, and they'll tell you, let me help you.
They do it.
Some people write it themselves.
Yes.
They go as far as using their own handwriting to write it. I once taught in school. We see these things, and you're like, this is not this child's writing. This is not this child's thinking. It's totally different. A child will want to say, this is a boy, but you want to emphasize on it. You want to make it elaborate it. Make it in a good comprehensive way.
Which is for adults, that only
adults can.
Yes.
But while we the teachers, we know this child, we know this child's strength, we know this child's capacity. This child has not gotten to this level. That's where it starts from.
So, and it keeps growing.
It keeps growing.
And at a point you think of registering them in special centers to write their work.
Of course, we have parents that want to sort the examinator supervisors out, bribe them and all that. Of course, we have people that will still collect. So if we have parents that are sorting and we have supervisors that are not collecting, I think it will reduce.
And I like the fact that prosecutions are being carried out in this regard. All right, moving ahead. Tragedy has deepened in Odigbo local government area of Ondo State as Emmanuel, the man who allegedly beheaded his brother Daniel, has reportedly died from injuries sustained after being lynched by an enraged mob. During the interview we had earlier, our guest mentioned it. The gruesome incident occurred on Monday evening around the Origbara River axis, throwing the quiet community into confusion and fear. According to residents, the suspect, Emmanuel, was caught by locals shortly after committing the act. He was severely beaten before being handed over to the authorities. Reliable source said Emmanuel was rushed to the hospital in critical condition but eventually succumbed to the injuries. Confirming the latest development, the police public relations officer in Ondo State, DSP Olayinka Alayonde, told newsmen that yes, the child has died in custody. The 26-year-old man, identified as Daniel, who allegedly killed his brother Emmanuel at Onigbaya River in Odigbo local government area of Ondo State, has also been reported to have died from the injury he sustained. This is a very sad one. 2 children already gone from the same family, the same father.
Songwriter says, one of the popular songwriters says, man in humanity to man. So he did that to his brother, and can we wash this hand? We wash this hand. It's a painful one for the family, and it's so bad that our youths are the ones engaging in such. Our young boys, young girls.
Because you need to see the picture and the video of the boy. He's also a very young guy.
Yes, he is.
And you see the beheaded head. You see the child is much younger.
I don't know what gave him that effortry, that guts, to you killing your brother first, your brother. Then
no, they said it's a step brother.
He's still a brother. He's still a brother of the same father. They are still siblings, sharing the same blood, living together. Then you go to the extent of killing him. Then you chop off his head. He didn't feel remorseful, that he had already committed a crime. Then you went further to chop off the head of your own blood. That is inhuman to man. That is really inhuman to man.
It's indeed very sad. And in the process, because of in the village, everyone was very angry. I mean, who wouldn't be?
Who wouldn't be?
Who wouldn't be? You carried your brother that was kept with you, and you chopped up, you killed him for whatever
reason.
To make money, I guess, because of this.
I mean, they were having conflicts, siblings quarrels, sibling quarrel. It's normal. No couple quarrel.
Yes.
How much more siblings? And whatever arguments the both had, it does not warrant such. And on the second note, this jungle justice, it's not right. That's not the best approach. That's not the best way to go about it. We have authorities that you can report to, and this boy's father, he's a police officer, a known one. So why not
a popular one
for that matter? Why not report him, to the right authorities than going to the extent of doing jungle justice?
I think that's exactly. They didn't think of the father or the parents or the mother before they did what they have to do. I think they feel it's probably because the father was a policeman. They believe there won't be justice.
No.
That he might want to cover, because he starts to want to lose 2 children
at a time.
So think about it. The human aspect of him might want to just say, okay, Yet that one is gone,
Let me use this one to hold body.
To protect this one. Maybe that's what they felt, and they had to go to that. Although it was as if it's indeed sad. It's indeed sad.
I feel for their parents.
Yes,
you know, grieving for children, not just in the space of maybe 1 year, 2 years, of 10 years.
Within days.
Within days. It's quite a pity.
It is sad. What are we teaching our children? When I watched that video, I had a lot of comments. So we're like, he wants to go and sell him. He wants to sell the head. He wants to get rich quick. He wants to do that, all that. So, but our youths, please, parents, we need to do more. We really need to do more. All right, moving ahead. Then the State Police Command said it